Good afternoon, CFM. It's Coach Matt with our Tuesday workout. We're going to do our 1K row pace intervals and then a moderate intensity accessory circuit on the minute afterwards. So let's begin with 3 minutes of your choice warm-up pace cardio. And then I want you to get a couple rounds through a walking lunge for 40 feet with a rotation. So swivel both directions while your back knee is on the ground. Just rotate back and forth on the way back. Bear crawl, so hands weighted down or just crawling with your hands and legs. And then we'll do 8 reps of a pull down with the band. So this one, you can just reach up high, elbows straight, and trying to get your ears between your arms and then pull straight down to your waist with your elbows straight. So this kind of mimics the dumbbell pullover tension and position, just with a band overhead instead of a dumbbell on a bench. And then the last one is a single leg eccentric squat with your elevated heel, right? So I've got my weight, I've got a dumbbell here, a 20-pound one, and if I just put my heel on it, it gives me a really nice angle on my foot, right? And so I can just kind of stand in front of the rig and hang onto a bar or just hang onto the rig. And then I'm just counting somewhere between 3 and 5 seconds, but a slow descent to the bottom of the single leg squat with one leg, and then use my 2 feet to push me back up to the top. All right, so heel elevated, single leg eccentric squat, using whatever support you need to maintain that eccentric tempo. All right, and get 4 reps on that on each leg. All right, when you finish, then we're gonna go do our pace work. So it starts with a 600, which should be the hardest one, and then rest 2 to 3 minutes of 500. Not as bad in terms of distance, but a little accumulated fatigue and not complete recovery from the 600, and then rest another 2 to 3 minutes, and then the 400, right? So this should be relatively taxing, but honestly, in a 1K row, it's the last like 200 meters that is the worst part of it, right? You'll start feeling that fatigue at about the 600 meter mark, but usually it is the last bit that gets you. Okay, so just try to maintain your pace for those 3 intervals, descending in distance with approximately 2 to 3 minutes rest in between. No other activities or exercises or supersets to fatigue you. So it is just the rowing. So focus on your recovery when you finish each individual interval. When you're done with that, we'll start a running clock, and it will be every minute on the minute. Recommendation is for you to find a small group or a partner so that you don't have to set up all this stuff on your own. But there are 5 different exercises, so it should be about 15 minutes of work, but every exercise has a interval of 40 seconds of work and 20 seconds of rest. So for instance, on the dead bug, don't really care how many reps you get because I want you to go relatively slow on this. And with the different variations, what I mean is you can do it with your knees bent, you can do it with your legs straight, you could do ipsilateral, right, same side, or you could do contralateral, opposite side, right? Or you could do all 4 at the same time. You could do a bunch of reps with just your arms and then a bunch of reps with just your legs, right? But do variations of that dead bug for 40 seconds and then rest and switch for 20 seconds. Next one is a Pallof press. So I do have 2 bands here at the rig. I got a little one for the face pulls and a heavier one for the Pallof hold. And again, variations, right? So power stance, holding isometric position, right? It could be split stance, outside foot forward, and we're doing multiple versions of the press. It could be a squat width stance, and I'm practicing Pallof squats. Do a few reps on each side, but split it evenly, approximately 20 seconds per side, and change the variations of the Pallof press or Pallof hold. Next one is single leg Romanian deadlift. All right, so I've got my light to medium weight, and I'm performing this RDL, which means this leg bends only a little bit. I'm hinging at the hip, trying to keep that hip nice and square to the ground, right? Romanian deadlift, and make it even per leg. Next one is band face pulls. Again, no number attached, just pulling that band up over the top of my head. Steady pace for 40 seconds. And then the last one is our bilateral hip thrust. And you can use a dumbbell and put it in your lap, or you can use a barbell. I have a green pad right here on the box so that the corner of the box isn't digging into my back, right? And I'm just touching my butt to the ground, knees at approximately 90 degrees, and then squeeze your butt and push your hips up. And if you do this with weights, the weights will touch the ground and give you that good bottom position, right? But try to keep tension on your glutes the whole time and make sure you're not overextending or hyperextending your low back when you do this. Make it about the glute extension. And the best way to do that is with the knees at approximately 90 degrees. If you have your legs out too straight, it'll be a lot of hamstrings. If you have your knees tucked in tight, you won't get that range of motion, right? So knees at 90 degrees, down and squeeze up, okay? All right, and rotate through that. Again, 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest, 3 times through for each of those exercises. Have a great one, I'll see you on Wednesday.